do everything that we can to make sure that someone who has an addiction has the opportunity in Madison County to seek professional medical help and realize that they need medical help. The number one problem from a medical standpoint, when they did a survey 2 years ago in Madison County, was we were so horrifically understaffed in mental health expertise and doctors. And we have to continue to try to get something in Madison County for treatment.
I don't have any real ideas, I'm sorry, but I'm not an expert on this, and that's what we need to do. We need to talk to experts, talk to the state. We need the state to talk to the federal government, because as a city, like Steve said, we can't do a lot of it by ourselves.
It's a tragic situation, and it starts with the dealers, of course, and the more dealers we can catch, the less stuff there is out there to kill people, and that can be difficult enough because they come from out of state, out of the country often. But I think what has been said already is right. We need professional help to support these poor people who are probably good people. And we need to see if we can find money enough, maybe within the county, Richmond and Berea, to build a rehabilitation center and find money enough to support it. You can build something, but can you afford to run it many years down the road? It is important that families are being supported. We can see more and more grandparents are actually taking care of their grandchildren. It's horrific, and we just need to be aware all the time. I think it starts at home, it starts in schools. We need to make sure our children are being educated about the dangers, otherwise it won't work. And the consequence of all this drug is that our prisons are being overcrowded. So we have cells where there can be 8 people, and right now there are 20 people, 10 of them lying on the floor. And it is not a good way to punish people, because they're coming out in the community again. And what they come out with is some very, 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 very bad experiences. And the community and society has treated them badly, even though they have been punished. And that cannot be ideal. I heard a while back that it was so bad in Baird County that they ran out of body bags. That's how bad it is. So we really need to stick together.
I think Steve is correct. One of the things that probably the most important thing we can do is lend our voice as city councilmen to those higher up the ladder, to our magistrates, to our representatives, and support them in their efforts to support us. In the meantime, I'm doing everything I can to educate myself. I spent 2 hours touring the Madison County Detention Center, and so it is correct. They're at 200% capacity. For every bunk bed they have bedrolls on the floor, and it is a depressing sight. I listened for 2 hours while the county coroner spoke to us about, what happens to these people when they have an overdose and they're found face down in an apartment with their pockets turned inside out because the people that they've been doing dope with want whatever's left. And it's a sad situation. I went to the health department, learned how to administer Narcan, and learned some of the effects of that. And educating ourselves is very important. How many people know where Narcotics Anonymous meetings are? People that need help need to know where these meetings are so that they can pull themselves out of these dark situations. We need to make sure that information is gathered in a place where people can find it. And most of all, we need to support the first responders. We need to learn what we can to support them so that they have the resources they need for the day-to-day activities.
question. Thank you. One of the things the city lacks in terms of infrastructure is a different type of infrastructure, social infrastructure. We don't have the social infrastructure right now here in Berea to deal with a lot of these issues. So homelessness, opioid abuse. But one of the things the city is working on right now is hiring a social worker with the police department. And I had the opportunity to sit in on the meeting to talk about what that social worker would be doing. And what they'll be doing is basically if someone were to bring, say they found someone homeless and they just need to get the resources, they would bring them to that person, and that person would get them into a treatment program, follow up with them, you know, whatever services they needed, which may not exist here yet, right? We work on getting them, whether it's sending them to Pikeville or wherever, we get them the services they need. I think that, if we can get it, will be a great start, and maybe something that we can expand on. I would encourage the creation of programs that would address such things. One of the things that I would like to do, and I don't know if he'll do it, but I'd like to sit down with Lyle Ruloff, the president of the college, and sincerely talk about how the city and the college can work together to address some of these social issues. Because I think, in terms of students, there's so much human capital that, you know, they might be willing to offer, right, to help us work on some of these things and build some programs out, maybe some labor positions. And that's a pie in the sky type of idea, but it's an idea nonetheless. Yeah.
Yes, we do have a drug problem, but how do you stop it? You got 75 runs right through Berea. It's not here in Berea, it's coming from out of Berea. You take the discipline out of our schools, out of our homes, what do? If you have a drug problem, you call an ambulance service, they'll come and give you a shot. You can do it again. You get a bee sting, you die. Think about it.
Thanks, Greg, for that question and for bringing up the Keep Berea Beautiful thing that's happening on Saturday. It's encouraging to have more people involved in that. It's obvious prison isn't working. Maybe a rehabilitation facility would. Recently, the fiscal court voted that down because people did not want to pay the tax. Personally, I'd rather pay the tax than see people addicted to drugs. I'm encouraged by what the Urban Farm has been doing, working with females suffering from a drug addiction. Also, Madison County has recently received a grant to help to teach 3rd, 6th, and 8th graders within the county about drugs. Also, something else that may help is First Responders Camp and the high schools, or at least Berea Community does, take students into the prisons. They take them to the morgue. They show them what happens if you get addicted to drugs, where you could end up. So those are some solutions. I don't have an answer. It's not something we're going to have to talk to experts about. But those are some positive things that are happening that I'm hoping is going to be encouraging for the future of the drug epidemic.
Are there any rebuttals? Are there any more questions from the community? At this time, Jessica.
So it's really great to see a librarian up there. I do believe that libraries are a hub of access for any community, and especially our community. And I'd like to know how our council members expect to fight for and support, especially through funds, the library. Thank you.
We can begin with Mr. Cottle.
Sorry, Virginia, if you did. So I would say that the library is as vital a part of the sort of Main Street, even though it's not technically Main Street, Chestnut Street landscape, and I would commend everyone who was a part of that work. The city administration, the mayor, I think that was probably 6 or 7 years ago. 2006, so way before that actually. Because we made a conscious decision that that was the best place for our library. And I think that the best thing that we can do is to continue to do everything that we can to keep them there. If they need to expand, if they need to do other things, we have to figure out what we can do as a city to make that happen, because that location specifically is such a great access to so many kids in our city, because I don't ever want to see it move away to where it's difficult for people who maybe don't have cars and they're relying on walking or relying on riding bikes as kids to get to those. But I think the best thing that we can do is just listen to them, find out what they need, and continue to make it a top priority, because in 2006 it was a top priority, and it needs to continue to be a top priority in 2026.
I'm really thrilled about the activity level at the library, and they have been very supportive of, for example, the Berea Celtic Festival as well, both on the adult side and the kids side of the departments. I think it's, if we need to expand the library, we need to do it because it is the soul of a community. That's where you get inspiration from. But you can, of course, also use our bookstores and buy books there. For example, Roby Books is just down the road from the library. Support the local businesses. It's very important if you want to buy something. But I think John and other people at the library, they do an extraordinary job, and the service level is high.
I've been glad to be part of the library for the last 18 years. When I began, it was in a 4,000 square foot. It was the display floor of an old automotive dealership. And we were able to tear that building down and replace it with the current building. No longer do we have 500K internet speeds. We actually have upgraded to fiber optic, 1 gigabyte. We've expanded our internet to the park that's located at Boone and Fee Streets. We've gotten to be the library that we are because of the partnership with the community, because of the support of the community. Obviously, I will be a loud voice for the library. Even if it comes to votes, I would probably have to recuse myself, but definitely I understand how important the library is, and will be a vocal supporter of where we will be as the library evolves into the future.
So in an age where education is under attack at every level, it's not surprising that you would be worried about the library. And I think it is a matter of voting in people who see it as a priority for the health and vitality of our community. So, I mean, I would also be a vocal voice who doesn't have to recuse herself. And I'll be there with you, John.
I think it's in a good location. I see a lot of people going in and out of there, and if we do have a problem for the library, providing stuff for the kids or the people in the community, let's fix it.
I think the library is probably the greatest resource we have in our community. I know during the summer my kids are there almost every day participating in one activity or another. They continue throughout the school year, having them after school's out. They're part of the summer feeding program. I think as a council member, if the decision was to come up to vote in money for the library, I would be on board with that because, like I said, they're probably our greatest resource that we have right at the moment.
Thank you all so much. So at this time, we will go into our closing statements. We are going to go in reverse order that we started. So Ms. Lynn, you will begin. So you will have 90 seconds to give your statement. So you can start.
Thanks again for hosting this. It's been very informative. I really appreciate everyone who came out tonight to listen to what we have to say. I've been active in the community and in schools for 15 years. I didn't just start becoming involved in the community when I decided to run for office, and I'll always be involved and I've always been involved and I'll always continue to be.
You know, we need to have more meetings like this in Berea to get more people involved. I've lived here all my life, and I think it's a good town. We just need to improve it.
Where's the incumbents?
That's one. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
So all I want to say in closing is thank you all very much for being here and powering through this. I don't know about y'all, but I'm exhausted. But if you would like to get involved, I would suggest if you liked any of the candidates or anything that we said through our nerves, to get involved with one of our campaigns. I would invite you to send me or meet with us afterwards. Some of us have some swag, so please stay if you can and get to know us a little better in a more informal way, because this can be very nerve-wracking. And to be fair to all the candidates, I think it's incumbent upon all of us to go a little further than just this presentation to find out what we're about. Thank you.
And building on what Emily has said, again, several of us have cards and buttons and what have you that you're welcome to come and get. We have websites where you can find out more about us, emails if you need to contact us directly. I think several of us still have yard signs that still need to find temporary homes. I'm so glad for this opportunity to speak to each of you, and hopefully we've given you some insight into our thoughts, and I think we all want the opportunity to serve you. Thank you.
I also want to thank Berea College for the opportunity to come here and hear all candidates state their opinions. And I came to Berea to work at Berea College. That's why I came here. I was on a sabbatical from the college where I worked in Denmark, and I participated in cultural events, and I went to the folk center one evening, and there was a contra dance, and there I met one of these southern girls. She taught me how to do. It made me so dizzy, I had to stay. That's why I'm still here. I was supposed to stay here for 10 months, and now I'm here almost 25 years. It's just amazing. And I think Berea has a lot to give, and I think I have a lot to give Berea, and I want to continue doing that. It is so important for me to come here tonight to share this with you, and I can see that there's some people who don't want to share their political views on a local basis, some of the incumbents, and I think it's really, really bad. I just want to say, it's my wedding night tonight. Yeah. And I'm here. Come and vote for us.
Happy anniversary. Thank you for hosting. Thank everybody for coming out. It's a lot just to come out and listen to people talk. And remember to vote on November 6th, even if you vote. And remember to vote down ballot, not just for federal, state. Remember to vote down ballot as well.
Before I start, will somebody tell the lady who just left because the baby's trying to come back in here?
It is the other.
Come on. I'm totally used to that. My 5-month-old cries all the time. So, thank you to everybody who came out and who participated and who took the time at your night to come listen to a bunch of people talking about city council, because so often we don't do enough of reaching out and I think people don't feel like they can reach out to us. So I apologize if that's the case for you, but thank you for coming out. I encourage you to talk to us afterwards, call us. We all put our phone numbers out there. My wife freaks out because my phone number is put in the newspaper all the time, but you can call me anytime if you ever want to know anything, because the number one thing that you can do is participate. I would love to see everybody here next, well, it's not next Tuesday, 2 Tuesdays from now, or 3 Tuesdays from now, to come to a city council meeting. Come out and listen. If you have something you want to say, get up and say it in community comments. That's your meeting. So it's been an honor for me the last 4 years to represent the city of Berea. I hope to continue to do that for the next 2 years. I always do the very best that I can. And if there's anything that you ever need or want to talk about, please don't ever hesitate to reach out and call me or email.
Fantastic. All right, so I first want to thank all of you all. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. I would like to thank the staff for organizing, especially the candidates, and letting us know that they care enough about our voices enough to hear them and to respond to our concerns. And I would just like to thank you all, especially for coming to Berea, because I'm not going to lie, I don't really like walking to the Folk Center, so the fact you came to our domain, we greatly appreciate it. So I want to give you all some final logistics, or final information. So some voting logistics, you can vote up to 8 city council candidates in Berea, since it's like a council at large and each representative serves the city as a whole. Additionally, if you would like to make yourself a plan for election day in Berea, especially students, go to the back and someone will help you fill out an election day planning form. Finally, feel free to mingle for another half hour or so, but after today, keep those important information and don't forget to vote on November 6th. Thank you all so much.